Hello, you are now live with Dave Jose. I wanted to get with you guys and talk about the secret meeting that happened that very few people know about. It is the first time ever that this is being spoken about publicly. I'm going to invite some people on. I need you guys to let me know you can hear me because I'm using some different headphones that I don't know how well they work. I didn't have a chance to set up my good microphone system, but we're going to use what we have. But please let me know if you hear me. Let me know when you come on. But as I said, this is going to be breaking news. This is news that you will not be able to hear anywhere else. It is going to be nuts. I mean, the amount of information that I have for you today is out of this world. I'm trying to get my keyboard to leave off the screen, so I ask you guys to please forgive me. I will pray after I get somebody on and I can make sure that you guys can hear me. But give me 1 second. Let's see. How do I remove this keyboard? Forgive me, guys. Let me know if you are on and you can see this. I'm going to turn my screen back sideways. Let me know if you're on the video. Okay, we got a few people on already. Let me know if you can hear me, guys. If you can hear me, I meant to type here H-E-A-R. Please forgive me for the spelling. Is there anybody on here who can hear me? Brandy Murdoch, can you hear me? Good morning. Can you hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. If you let me know that you can hear me, I'll get started. Hey, Frida. Yes, perfect. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for coming on. Share this with everybody. Share this all over Facebook. Share this on Twitter. Share this everywhere you possibly can. And then when you are done, make sure that you not scrub the video. You rip the video, put it somewhere safe, because I am going to give you guys information that will let you know about the secret meeting that happened that I believe it already has, but it potentially helped to save the Republic. Now, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not one of those people who are going to tell you, hello, Angela, who are going to tell you to trust the plan. I'm not going to tell you to just believe that something is happening that I'm not telling you about. I'm not going to speak in Morse code. I'm going to tell you guys about real events that happen. I'm going to tell you how you can verify that it happened on my Facebook. I'm going to let you see, plain as day, where you can see on my Facebook where I was at on the day that it happened. I can't remember the exact day. It was several days ago. But I'm going to tell you about this meeting that was done with a high-level congressman, federal congressman, a high-level Republican, Josh Barnett, who ran for Congress. I would have actually never been able to go to this meeting if it wasn't for Josh Barnett and if it wasn't for Evelyn Keeling, who actually invited me. Who actually invited me to this meeting. So it is crazy, but y'all got to share this with everybody, because a lot of people are concerned about the nation right now. A lot of people are concerned about the election, and I'm going to tell you guys what happened, how it happened, and what we did in order to blow the back out of election fraud and to catch these people up. And I could tell you that it could only be God who set the stuff up the way that this was set up, because I would have never went to a meeting like this. I only went because Josh Barnett told me to come. And I only learned about how to do this because of the fight that I got in previously with CPS. So every single thing that has happened in the last several years led up to this point. And I had no idea I would be here. I couldn't plan for this or prepare for this. It was God, right? So let us pray, and then we're going to knock this out. Please share this with everybody. When I get done praying, we should have a good number of people here. Sometimes Facebook hides the number of people who are really on the video. More people are commenting than the number that it says are on, but please share with everybody, because this is real breaking news for the nation that you will not be able to hear anywhere else, because nobody else knows, right? So let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the beautiful and wonderful people that are on this video right now listening. Father, we thank you so much for opening the doors for us to be able to give this vital information to the people who have been concerned. Father, you know that the people have witnessed that there are some strange anomalies happening, some irregularities, some wicked and evil things that we can tell are on purpose, and the people are upset and angry, full of righteous indignation. And Father, we understand why they have righteous indignation, because there is fraud and deceit. And Father, we realize that people are coming together and planning to shut down the nation as soon as they could get in office. And we know that these same people have sold us out to other countries and done business that was wicked and evil, and it's being hidden by the media. So Father, we thank you for allowing us to be able to go into these secret meetings, Father, to go into these unannounced meetings, Father, where we can see the truth and see what's going on behind the scenes, so that we can give word to the people, Father, who love you, and the people who want justice and peace. And so we thank you for this, Father. We love you. We appreciate you and your work for us, Father, and your excellent plan and execution, Father, for directing our steps and putting us in the right place at the right time. Father, I ask that you help me to give this truth to the people, Father, and do it in a way recalling the important things for the people, and that their eyes might be open and they might realize the power they have to stand, Father, and we knock down this wickedness and evil and take our nation back and come back to you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, guys. All right. So this is super serious fire information that you can't hear anywhere else. So let me start off by letting you guys know what ended up happening. So there was an event down in Phoenix. It was 510 South 3rd Avenue, I believe it is. It is the elections building where they were counting votes. There was a word that came out that Kelly Townsend, a Republican, actually got information that there were no Republicans observing the votes in Phoenix. There were other people, I believe, like Steve Daniels, Big Marco, and several others who were creating an event. And hey, Monica, and they were creating an event for people to be able to stand up and speak about what they believed about the election fraud, being able to rally there to hold the politicians responsible, right? So someone asked me to come down. I think it might have been Josh Barnett who asked me to come down. And so I came down. We were there for one day. We started to talk and be able to understand what was going on with the people. Josh Barnett and I started hearing tons of people talking about how they were given Sharpies, forced to use Sharpies, how they tried to take some people's votes and not turn it in. And they were doing all these strange and crazy things. So we realized that, oh, shucks, this is some serious election fraud. At the same time, the news media was clowning Rudy Giuliani and President Trump, saying that there was no proof of election fraud. And I realized quickly what the game was and what they were trying to do. Now, I'm not that bright. I'm not that smart. But I do realize some things from the fight with CPS and helping people get kids back with CPS that allowed us to be able to show the truth where nobody could be able to stop. And I need you guys to all share this all over, because people are worried about the country, and we need to give people hope and give them an action plan to stop the election fraud. Now, Rudy Giuliani, he went on, hey Rick, he went on a TV show, a news show, I believe it was yesterday, and he was talking to the newscaster, and the newscaster kept saying things like, well, Rudy, can you, where is this evidence you're talking about? Can you show us evidence? Can you show proof of what's going on? Now, what's crazy is that the day before, 2 days before, we had this meeting. And as we were dealing with this meeting, some very, very, very powerful things happened. Now, if you want to know how the meeting got set up, it was a very loose meeting, and there was a very high-level Republican in Arizona there, very high-level Republican, and then there was a congressman in Paul Gosar. He was there. We actually met in the lobby of a hotel. There were several other people there. Another gentleman who fights against government corruption with trafficking through CPS. His name is Adele. You guys will probably be able to find out who Adele is through Josh Barnett. If you go to his page, you'll see he talks to Adele. Adele was there. Josh Barnett, who ran for Congress, is the only reason I was there. Like, I would have never went to anything like that. I didn't know the people. I met Kelly Ward one time, who's the Republican chair, at a party that was for a gentleman who was running for office, only because Josh Barnett invited me to that one. So it's kind of crazy because I would have never met Josh Barnett if it wasn't for Evelyn Keeling, who invited me to a meeting with David Farnsworth, who I was able to teach about what was happening with the fraud with CPS after he realized that they were trafficking kids. I actually got to come in and show him, his attorneys, and different people what was really happening with the law. And he was thoroughly convinced and knew, oh, shucks, this is a serious situation. So after he saw that, and we were at that meeting with Senator Farnsworth, where Josh Barnett met me because of the working of Evelyn Keeling, Josh Barnett went back and started to study the law and see if what I said was true. He found out that everything I said was true. He then started to do open challenges on Twitter and on Facebook, where he would tell any attorney or any judge or any government official to go against me with the law and prove if the law said what it said. Now, what was crazy is that Josh Barnett did not just trust what I said. He pushed me into many different uncomfortable situations to test the knowledge that I had, and he checked it himself. And so we ended up going to many different attorneys, many different people. We made many different challenges online, and very few people would take the challenges. And if they did take the challenge, they just played a game and looked stupid in front of everybody. They realized that they could not defend what they were doing. So Josh Barnett knows that this meeting is happening, and I find out that Josh Barnett talked to one of the attorneys for the congressman to be able to help him to understand where I stood with law knowledge. So Josh Barnett is behind the scenes putting all this stuff together. Now, I had no idea that I was supposed to go to a meeting. Josh Barnett asked me to come out again. He said, David, I'm going to be down at this building where we're dealing with voter fraud. Get down here, right? No explanation, no nothing. Get the freak down here. I said, okay. So I came down. And when I got there, out of nowhere, he's like, we're leaving. We're going to a meeting. You're going to go with me to this hotel. And I said, what? He said, yeah, you're going to meet with the congressman and we're going to talk to them. And we're going to deal with what's going on with Trump. I said, oh, shucks. So I'm not ready for this, right? I had no idea Josh Barnett was going to do this. He told me to come down. Whenever he tells me to get up and move, usually something is serious. So I got up and moved. So then I get there, he tells me we're going to go to this meeting, right? So to prove to y'all that I actually went to the meeting and that it was at a hotel, to prove to you where I was, I did a post on my Facebook where there was a hotel that I was at that had a Starbucks in it, where the woman tried to tell me I could not eat in there or order because I didn't have a mask. And then I started to open up the law and I said, ma'am, do you know what Title II says? She said, you could tell my manager, and got smart and snippy, right? So she called the manager over. So I schooled the manager in the law. I posted on my Facebook Title II, and you'll see a red underline of the word hotel because that's where I was. I was in the hotel. I can't remember if it was the Hilton or Radisson. I can't remember. But big, very nice hotel, downtown Phoenix. So Josh Barnett brings me there. I show you guys that I school the manager. And then after schooling the manager, they bring the whole director of the hotel in, the big boss of the whole hotel. I school him on the law, and then they all give me a free breakfast sandwich for them treating me wrong. So I posted it on my Facebook so you can know where I was. So you can see the underline of the word hotel in the post, and you can see in the back, I'm holding up the sandwich, and you can see the background of the inside of the hotel. I'm sitting in the lobby. Anybody can verify that. At that meeting was government officials. So a Congress member, Paul Gosar, was there. The Republican chair, Kelly Ward, was there. Not trying to just call out her name or whatever, but I'm letting you guys know what's up so you can know that I don't play that, you know, I haven't studied Q. I know they say trust the plan and stuff like that. I don't want you to trust me, trust the plan. I'm verifying every freaking thing I'm saying and telling y'all where the freak I was and what's going on, because y'all deserve that as a people. I'm not holding back anything. I'm telling you steps so you can see what the freak really happened, and you can stand and know that God put something together that I ain't had no control over, using Josh Barnett, who got introduced to me from Evelyn Keeling when other people didn't invite me to the David Farnsworth senators meeting. So if Evelyn Keeling didn't invite me there to meet Josh Barnett and told me, hey, I want you to meet Josh Barnett, you guys will hit it off. I had no idea who Josh Barnett was. She said, y'all got to talk, y'all got to meet each other. You guys have seen that we have done many things with opening up business around the nation and PMAs and all that stuff. That's Evelyn Keeling's work and God's work. I ain't have nothing to do with it. They just told me to get to a meeting, right? So anyway, we're in this meeting, right? We start talking about what's going on and how we can see that there was a ton of election fraud that was spoken about at the meeting. At the event down at 510, I believe it is, South 3rd Avenue, the elections place. And so we're talking about all the fraud that's going on. We're discussing these things. And we find out that these people have been in contact, and Josh's people have been in contact with Rudy Giuliani's attorneys, and that they were trying to inquire into what was going on. So I'm sitting there listening, and then somebody mentions a gentleman. He mentions, hey, well, we should probably just make some complaints on President Trump's website. I'm looking, I'm like, what? Complaints? Because I realize, and this shows you how God works, complaints are not considered evidence. Now, I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the interview that Rudy Giuliani did with the lady on, I believe it was Fox News yesterday. It says 17 people. I'm sure there's way more, but share it with everybody. If y'all share it with everybody, it'll go across the nation real fast. Make sure y'all got my permission to rip this video and keep it too, because they're going to try to get rid of it. Hopefully, it'll get forwarded to the library TV, where it would be on blockchain technology. They can never take it down, but that may take a little bit of time after. But let me tell y'all what happened. So one of the gentlemen said we should do complaints. I realized from fighting CPS that if you ever write a complaint to the bar, you ever write a complaint to the judiciary, you ever write the judiciary committee and all that stuff, if you do not write a sworn affidavit under the penalty of perjury with a jurat and an affiant, they don't have to investigate. See, the reason that we've been losing a lot in CPS world and all that stuff, before God let me figure this out, what ended up happening is that the government officials would tell us to go complain. Now, the very law, the 4th Amendment, says that no warrant can be issued without oath and affirmation of probable cause. Evidence that actually shows a crime. So on the TV show, the Fox News caster did with Rudy Giuliani, she came out and tried to do what I knew the Democrats were going to try to do, who were cheating. She said, so Rudy Giuliani, where's your evidence of all this stuff that you say is happening? Where's the evidence? Can you show it to us? So she's trying to put him in a corner by getting him on TV and showing that he has nothing in his hand that is considered real evidence. So Rudy Giuliani says, well, we got the testimony of multiple people. And this testimony, these people are willing to take an oath, make an oath before a actual court. And it's up to the Supreme Court if they want to hear this or not. I was like, ooh, wait, what? See, guys, we got to realize what's happening in the law here. So the woman was checking Rudy Giuliani for not having any documents in his hand that prove the fraud. Now, I'm hearing this days after I was in the meeting with the people who made a plan to stop the election fraud. I was there. I heard everything. And I actually put in the information and told them what to do to defeat the election fraud. I'm going to tell y'all what I told them. So what ended up happening is the gentleman said we need to make complaints. So people made complaints and told Giuliani's team what happened, but they didn't have all physical affidavits. A couple of days before, or a day before, I guess Rudy Giuliani did a presentation one day before, where he had affidavits and stuff like that and witnesses standing all behind him, which is better. But before he did this, we actually showed the fraud and we showed them how to do it. So in the meeting with the people who was talking to Giuliani's team and with Josh Barnett's contacts, who deals directly with Rudy Giuliani's teams and their attorneys in Arizona, we made a plan and we actually executed it. I gave them the information on how to fix it. So I'm gonna tell y'all what I told them. So after the gentleman said we're gonna make complaints, I'm like, heck no, don't ever make a complaint when it comes to fraudulent activity. Everybody share this with everybody. Get the word out. It should be a ton of people on here because this is information that we have used that will potentially save our republic. I believe it already has, and that the truth is going to come out because we did this the right way. And it's going to be able to be used as the Supreme Court as evidence, where the Supreme Court won't be able to make a decision if they're going to hear the evidence, or it'll be a felony. And I'm explaining to you why. So what I told them, I said, listen, guys, we do not need to do a complaint. That will never work. And everybody's heads, they kind of went back like this, all the government politicians. And so their heads went back like this. And they're like, what? Right? And I can't see everybody, but Josh Barnett is looking around the room because he sees everybody is kind of like shocked. Like, why is this guy in here talking about don't use a complaint? I said, guys, in order to do this, we need to do sworn affidavits. You must have an affiant in the affidavit. You also must have a jurat, which means that the notary public is actually not just acknowledging that somebody was in front of them signing an affidavit, but they are giving what's called they're using a jurat, which means that they are taking the oath or affirmation of the person and they're swearing. Big difference. The woman on the show was asking for evidence of fraud. The only evidence that a court can use to make a warrant or to start up a case or an action is actual testimony that's sworn under the penalty of perjury. Remember the Fourth Amendment. The Fourth Amendment says that the people will be secure in their persons, papers, houses, and effects, and that no warrant shall issue except for by probable cause, and that you have to have oath or affirmation. So what's been happening is the government, when they want to go against the people, have been just arresting people with nobody swearing that anything happened. But when it comes to government officials, if you don't swear anything happened, they just call it hearsay and it can ignore it. So they wanted to make complaints, which means that if you just complain, the word complaint is actually comes from a French word that means like nagging old woman, literally. And if you are just nagging, you are not stating any claims which can get you arrested if you're lying. Therefore, it is not powerful enough to get anybody arrested on the other end. But an affidavit sworn under the okay, well, Rocky, if you don't understand or it's not that big of a deal, you could just get off. We don't need you to just stay on if you're not convinced about affidavits and what it does and how it can save the nation. You could just get off the video, no big deal. We will miss you and love you, but it's okay. So anyway, so what ended up happening is that we decided I let them know to do sworn affidavits under the penalty of perjury with an affiant. That very same day, we set up for everybody who had issues with the votes and real information of fraud and real information from the inside of the polling places where they were told that they could not verify the votes, even though they were supposed to as Republicans, and all this other fraud. We got everybody to put everything in a sworn affidavit. We also had a woman named Carrie who is a notary public, who gave, who dropped everything she had to do in life, and for 3 days straight, she went down to the place and actually allowed people to write out their sworn affidavits on the spot. So the people did their sworn affidavits. There was another gentleman that Adele brought that also took down the affidavits. There was another notary public there. Some of the people had affidavits that they got at home, got them notarized at their bank and brought them in. But they all had an affiant. They all were sworn under the penalty of perjury with a jurat on the document showing that it was done correctly. And so we had real evidence that can be used in any court that cannot be ignored by judges, attorneys, or anybody else. So then you see Rudy Giuliani, he comes on Twitter and he says, we have Americans sending us all types of evidence. It's hard to keep up. That was the day after we made the plan to start doing notarized affidavits, which was told to Giuliani's team, which was told to the other politicians and the high-level government officials who were going to fight in this process. The word went across the nation. Now, I'm telling y'all, this could not have happened if God didn't set me up with Josh Barnett through Evelyn Keeling, if Josh Barnett did not set up the meeting for me to go with him to meet with Gosar and the other high-level politicians, it would not have happened. So I documented things along the way that you guys can go back and look at and see. But what you will realize now is, now Trump Jr. is posting pictures of affidavits. And he's saying, hey, you remember the evidence they said we don't have? See, Rudy Giuliani said something. He said, look, we have evidence of, we got people who says they'll go under oath if the Supreme Court will hear this matter. The thing that we did that we realized was super powerful and would set it up so that they can't ignore it, we got notarized affidavits because those are considered evidence in every court of record today. Not if somebody decides to just speak later. It is actually evidence of fraud happening. It's prima facie evidence. Now, here's where it gets even deeper. So if you go to the 1877 Georgia Constitution as ratified without subsequent amendments, you go to the judiciary section, which I think is section 6, and you look at who all it says is part of the judiciary. When you scroll through there, you're going to find that one of the groups of people that it says is part of the judiciary, other than justices of the Supreme Court and others, it says commissioned notaries public. Commissioned notaries public. So when you have a notary public, they can act in two capacities. They can act as one who acknowledges that they saw you write something as a witness to what you wrote, to what you had. So they acknowledge it was you, right? Now, you got to take it to you too, T-Tate. You got to take it to the next level where they're giving you an oath, taking your oath where you're swearing that what you are saying is true as an officer that is authorized within the state or county to take an oath of a person who's swearing like you're in court already. So with an affidavit, you can hold court outside of a court building. When you write that affidavit and you have the oath in there and they take your oath and you sign it in front of the notary, they are not just acknowledging that you wrote it. They are taking your oath and you are swearing that everything you said is true under the penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America. Game over. They're acting like a justice of the peace. They're giving you an oath like you're in court. So you're holding a court through paperwork. Now, those documents have been given to Rudy Giuliani's team and the government. There was also some other stuff that happened that I can't talk about because this is being investigated, but it deals with a level of fraud and evil that is so freaking high, it's unbelievable. I mean, some stuff like trying to make votes disappear and using federal transit, but I can't talk about it, right? because that one is still under investigation, like right now at the highest level of government, right? And I got to say, once again, it's because of Josh Barnett and his people that even that one happened. So when I look at the things that are going on, it's almost unreal that I've been able to see all these things. And it's a blessing from God because the people have been worried. And, you know, a lot of times people just say, you know, like the Democrats came out in the news who working along with them hand in hand and saying, just trust the election. There is no evidence of fraud. Now you can take the physical evidence of fraud that's dispersed around the nation. The affidavits that were picked up are in different parts of the nation. And there's records of it all over the place. If you try to hurt one person, you ain't going to get rid of it. It's coming to haunt these government officials. You guys are going to start seeing them tell on each other like they have been because of the idea of people doing affidavits. They've already put in concrete evidence that implicates everybody else who's been involved. So now many government officials are going to go to jail and they know it. And so the low-level election workers who were told to commit fraud know now that there's people who are exposing what they're doing. Straight Tekashi 6ix9ine. They're doing the Tekashi on people and they're going to go to prison. And so they're going to tell guys, you're going to see something you ain't never seen before. Now, it's crazy how God does things because we could have had a situation where everybody could have just made statements, right? But they don't swear to him and there's no affidavits. And then the Supreme Court, if they wanted to flip, they could have literally said, well, we have no physical evidence of this happening. So you already, you know, filed for a lawsuit. There's no evidence here. There's no evidence for you to give to the other side. So we're going to go ahead and say we're not hearing this. That ain't happening, y'all, because we have physical evidence in the form of affidavits, which are sworn under the penalty of perjury, that no government official can say that it is not true unless they say it in their own private capacity as a man or a woman, which means they lose all immunity. That's another thing. So when you have people who swear under the penalty of perjury, you're doing that as a man or a woman. A government officer can't swear in his official capacity. He has to swear as a man and be liable for everything he says. So if he's lying, he could go to prison. So that was another reason that I said, listen, guys, we need to do sworn affidavits under the penalty of perjury. Now, after you've seen all that, this part of my video is going to be for those who are fighting CSC and those who are fighting CPS, trying to deal with these fraudulent government officials who are making money off of federal programs. They're taking your children for federal money and you're trying to find why they're doing this. You're trying to stop it. You're trying to get your kids back. You know it's wrong. You don't know why. Guys, Rudy Giuliani just proved to you and Trump Jr. just proved to you why affidavits work. They just proved to you that affidavits change the game. They came out and started talking about, oh yeah, they're still stealing kids, but they're going to stop soon, T-Tate, because the people have just witnessed everything I've been telling y'all. And I'm going to tell y'all another part of the story that you haven't heard before either. So you guys know that I help people who join my PMA do affidavits all across the nation. We are at like 73 kids back as of today that I know of. Some of them have come back and people don't tell me. I don't care as long as they get the kids back. But 73 kids as of today have been returned or ordered to be returned. Like they got a couple that are like Friday and this Friday, last Friday and this Friday, or Monday and this Friday, that are coming home. So they'll be back home. That'll make the 73. We were at 70 before. So the thing is that we did affidavits showing them the law, sworn under the penalty of perjury. Now, some of the same people who were part of, you can hit me up on Facebook, David Jose, or you can get with Jessica Ann on Facebook. She's on my Facebook page and she can get you into the PMA. It's called The Common Law Way on Facebook. Now, here's what happened, guys. We started getting all these kids back, right? So this Troy Robinson, he's a witness. He just got his daughter back. Troy, didn't you use some of my stuff for my affidavit too? At least some of my teaching. I can't remember. I think you got the affidavit though. But what ended up happening is that government officials told us that they could do whatever they want to. These judges who were actually acting in the private programs. Yeah, so Troy Robinson said he used my affidavit. And what happened was people who were working with Epstein People who made fake news articles, you could go look up by name, you'll find fake news articles all over online from fake news establishments. You won't see Channel 4, you won't see Channel 12, you won't see NBC, ABC. You're going to see a Discuss group. You're going to see a Daily Haze that fell apart after they tried to attack me and everybody clowned them. But they made fake articles, and they used those articles to hack parents' accounts and then get information and pictures from parents' phones, and they actually post them on a special group. But these people were some of the same people who helped Epstein to cover things during his first situation. So when Epstein got caught trafficking, the news media hid it from, you can tell that from the woman who came out and told that they hid her story, and then she recanted her statement after some days, but we already knew. They knew about the sex trafficking, they didn't tell. Cindy McCain also told y'all, which I went after live on video, showed her the law. She ran out the freaking meeting with a moon boot on, one of those like you got arrested boots or something, that her husband had one on not too long before on the, and he had one on the other leg, right? So what ended up happening was that when I went after CPS and caught them trafficking, which Trump came out after we put them on notice, his administration came out and said that they know that CPS and the partners are trafficking, and they asked for whistleblowers. When that happened, the agents and the different people who were working against the parents who were trying to get their kids back did a massive campaign where they said, oh, don't trust him. Don't trust affidavits. Now, President Trump right now is returning over the election with affidavits. The more people in government who see affidavits telling what really happened, they're telling on each other and giving out privy information, saying that they were told to do evil things that will get them put in prison and can be even considered treason. They're telling. Why are they telling? Because they know that people are coming out with evidence that cannot be denied. They're in freaking trouble. You can send me a message here. You can reach me on Facebook. If you get Signal app, I'll talk to you over the phone. I won't talk through any other method. No phone, no nothing. I did get a lot of death threats for exposing this stuff. But let me tell you guys, so President Trump got in trouble, if you go back and look in history, when he got 1,700 people arrested around the country. The 1,700 people he got arrested were doing child trafficking. Well, the Fed came out a little bit after we showed that CPS was trafficking by affidavit. We sent 2,000 affidavits to Health and Human Services. You can actually see the name of the woman we sent the affidavits from. I can show you a picture of the email where we sent 2,000 of them. And then I can show you where that woman came out through Epic Times and actually told that they knew CPS and partners were trafficking. After that, a few days later, the head of CPS in Arizona quit, right? I actually went to a meeting with t-shirt, shorts, and sandals on and showed the law where CPS could not take kids and blew their back out in front of everybody on Facebook. I think 30,000 people saw what I did. Now, it's all God because I'm a nothing and a nobody, right? I'm a nothing and a nobody. I got ashy elbows. I'm just a regular old guy, right? Yeah, I'm on Parler now too. I think it's at David Cares for You, or at Dave. No, Twitter, I'm at David Jose Cares. Parler, I'm at Dave Cares for You. So, and everybody go to Lawful Living as well. LawfulLiving.com. My friend Malika Dolce actually owns that app. So we will be teaching the law on there. I got a private group on there for anybody who's in my PMAs, one of my PMAs. And we're going to be teaching the law there, and the government will no longer be able to hide what we're telling. So we're going to get justice. Your kids are coming back home. You see, Troy Robinson just told you guys he used one of my affidavits. He just got his kid back the other day. He's a beautiful man, fought in the military, really inspired me when I got to speak to him in Arizona. But we got real people with real evidence they got their kids back, while at the same time, government officials, an attorney who helped Clinton make the law, ASFA, they actually tried to go against what I was telling people about using affidavits. But we see when Donald Trump is in trouble, one of the most brilliant lawyers in the entire nation, with the help of Josh Barnett, who brought me to the meeting, is now telling people to do affidavits and telling them to turn their written testimony into affidavit form. Why are they doing that, y'all? It's because God has put us together for a time such as this. You guys know I got the federal order to get my kids returned from a federal arbitration. praise God that it didn't happen, because I would not have been at this meeting. I would have been somewhere at a trout farm with my kids having fun, not thinking about going to some meeting that will help President Trump not get defrauded of an election and the American people. So everything happens for a reason, guys. People laugh like, oh, Dave, you didn't get your little guys back yet. What happened? Ha, 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 ha. And I realized that when you're handling God's business, some crazy stuff is going to happen, and God is going to use you for his purpose until he's done. And you can't be mad about it. Okay, my friend Rocky, I understand, but you know, it's you know, I have to tell people what's going on. Sometimes people don't want to listen to what is said unless they know in an introduction ahead of time. The story that I had to tell is a very in-depth and detailed story. So there's so many parts of it that I didn't want to just start talking about it without telling people what to expect, because is this important? Why is it important? It's important because now that you guys know that we had this private meeting where we talked about affidavits and them doing it, and we put it into place, and the very next day we had notaries there to do it. You guys know, for every single body that you know in America who wants to have a voice, who had some fraudulent stuff happen with this election, that they should be doing an affidavit with the jurat and turning it into Rudy Giuliani's team, to government officials. And I'm going to tell you guys something. So these things that have happened in many cases are fraud and a felony and treason. When government officials purposely come together to steal an election, guys, it is treason. It is a very dangerous situation. And I pray for them, because the result of this action, even to lower level people who are just working in the polls, could be life in prison with no chance of getting out. Let me see. Colorado 18th district stealing kids. I just need my kids home. I received my affidavit your team sent. Okay, so you want to make sure that you do your affidavit. You want to make sure that you have your bills of rights from your state there. And I'm gonna tell you why I need to do that. Let me know, guys, if it's okay with you if I explain this real quick, because I want to explain why we use the Bill of Rights and affidavits, why it's so effective, why we're using the state bills of rights. The reason we're doing this is because, so in the United States Constitution, so I'm just telling you this off of my head. If you go to the Declarations of Rights of California, which the Declarations of Rights of the people are accepted by the United States of America all the way across every state, because it's the people saying what their rights are. So if you have a right in one state, you also have that right in another state if you declare. Now, and you can see that by the full faith and credit of the United States in the United States Constitution. So when you look at California Declaration of Rights, Section 24, you're going to see where it says that the rights guaranteed in this Constitution are not dependent upon the rights guaranteed in the United States Constitution. So why? Yeah, we are going back into being a constitutional republic, and I'm going to show you guys how to enforce it right here, right now, today. So it says that you have rights that are guaranteed in the state of California that are not dependent upon the rights guaranteed by the United States. Now, why is this important? Your fundamental liberty interest, your highest liberty interest over your kids, over your business, what you're going to pursue in life, how you're going to deal with your health care, all of those things are in your state constitution. This is why the federal government has not been teaching you in school, in the curriculum, about your state constitutions, because they want you to just use the United States Constitution, because the 14th Amendment doesn't tell about any of your rights that are protected, that are fundamental rights at a high level. So they tell you, in the First Amendment, they'll talk to you about the freedom of speech, the freedom of association, which is connected to it, and the such. But they're not telling you about your right to privacy, your right to self-govern, as you will see in the New Mexico Constitution. I think it's Section 3 of the Bill of Rights. The people have the sole and exclusive right to self-govern. So as one of the people, you have a totally different status and power. Now, under the 14th Amendment, if you look at it in the United States Constitution, it tells you that anybody who's a citizen of the United States and subject to the laws thereof right? So what it does is the 14th Amendment automatically makes you liable to every single statute and law they make, where the state constitution, if you look in California, number 1 of the Declaration of Rights, is going to tell you that all people are free and independent. Independent from what? Everything. The government. Their statutes do not apply to the people. It applies to the government workers who sign up and take an oath to the Constitution. So why are we using our state bills of rights? Number 24 in the Declaration of Rights of California says that the rights guaranteed in this Constitution, ... right? It tells you that the rights that you have in your state constitution are guaranteed. In Arizona, it says that these provisions, the bills of rights or the Declaration of Rights, are mandatory. So if you don't know that your state constitution says that these things are mandatory, like a trial by jury, a court of record, you have to give an affidavit before you can arrest or seize anybody. If you don't know this, you'll lose every single time. So when they're stealing our kids, people are like, David, how are you getting people's kids back? It's because I have showed people that you make a sworn affidavit. Oh no, it's okay, Rocky. I mean, Rocky, we got people who got I've done 2.5-hour videos that got 50,000 hits on Facebook, and it changed the whole nation with David Straight. The reason that happens is because there's people, Rocky, who want to learn the truth. Not everybody wants to just hear rah-rah. Not everybody wants to just hear what happened, but we got real people in America today who want to take action, decisive and massive action with actual steps that will change the way that this nation is run. When the people learn the truth, they're not just excited and happy to realize that they know that something is wrong, but they actually have action steps to correct the error. Real people in America today don't want to just talk. They want to fix stuff. They want to stand up. So it's my duty to take as much time as they want to teach the truth. So if people are trying to get their kids back right here, right now, that is their relationship to their children and the future of our land is so important that it's more important than the election with Donald Trump. All right. I would rather see one parent get their kid than fix this thing with Donald Trump. So the parents who have been suffering, they come first, right? And Donald Trump even knows that, because Donald Trump made an executive order dealing with these issues with CPS in the middle of COVID, right? A few months ago. So these people are important. I put my life on the line for the people. I got many death threats. I had a couple of attempts that people can give testimony of, where people wanted to kill me over helping these parents get their kids back. So that comes first. So moving on, anybody who wants to get your kids back, in your declarations of rights in your state, it shows that you have a right to a trial by jury in every case. So it's inviolate in Arizona. In California, it shows you that they can't take your kids. Can't take anything from you without a trial by jury. Everybody's guaranteed one. In California Constitution, you'll see that you are to have courts of record. Arizona Constitution, courts of record, and in many other states around the nation, you'll see this. So, guys, the reason that affidavits work so well, I'm going to tell you that government officials made an oath, right? Now, so many people in the law world will say, hey, you swore an oath, right? You swore an oath to the Constitution, right? And you swore an oath to the Constitution. Well, that's fine and dandy. But the problem is, what did they do by swearing an oath, and what did they swear to? It's all fine and dandy. Fine and dandy. It's all fine and dandy when somebody says, you swore an oath, right? That's cute. But if you're even in a bad relationship and somebody's doing something that went against the oath of your marriage, the first thing that you're going to say to them is, you swore that you would not cheat on me. You swore that you would not leave me for better or for worse. You swore this, you swore that. So why, when we deal with our public officials, are we not writing affidavits of what the state law, the real law, the Constitution says? Because what happens is, then they told me I don't have the right to records. Yeah, they're going to do that because they're a private court. Hey, Eagle Wolf. They're a private court. So I can prove this to you. When you look at CPS court, go to Title 42, USC 674, payment to states. You're going to find that they have what's called a neglect and abuse court, where it says 70 percentum. You're going to see where the secretary and the federal HHS is paying for what's called the neglect and abuse court, the CASA members, the attorneys on both sides for the parents and the kids, and every other party that's involved, they're paying for. So that means that it's not a court of record because the tribunal, which is CPS, is not separate from the magistrate, the person in the black robe, they call it a judge. The black robe is working with CPS as an administrative hearing officer for greater reviewing purposes. This is not a court at all. There's no such thing of a there's no such thing of an executive branch court. Furthermore, look up the case Hurtado versus California. You'll see in that case where it said that you cannot diminish the right of the people. So this is for government. The government cannot diminish the right of the people. So how are government workers terminating your rights? You can't terminate somebody's right because the people are the creators of the government. The people are the employers of the government. You cannot diminish the rights that you swore in the state Bill of Rights that you would not infringe upon. They are guaranteed. So when people try to tell you that they severed your rights, don't believe it. As a matter of fact, go to Black's Law 5, look up the word adoption, and you'll find out that the word adoption tells you in that definition that there is no such thing of adoption in the common law. There is no historical basis for it. It never existed. You cannot just adopt out people's kids when they're alive and say, oh, we're government, we can do it. That is a falsehood. It is a lie. And there is no attorney and no judge who will ever come on, and if there's someone here, you can start talking and get embarrassed in front of everyone, that will ever fight me on what I'm saying openly, and they will never make an affidavit saying that what I'm saying is untrue and give constitutional sources, period. It will not ever happen, right? So guys, this ties in with CPS and child support enforcement fighting people. You need to, if you wish, I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you wish, you should be writing affidavits showing the truth. You should be writing affidavits showing what these people swore an oath to in your state bills of rights. I'm going to give you a couple. In Arizona, if you look at Section 8, it tells you that no person shall be disturbed in their private affairs or home invaded without authority of law. That was said before there were any statutes. So it's not talking about statutory law. It's talking about common law, the law of the land, right? So nobody can just come in and interfere with your private affairs. The only way they can do that is if you have a warrant because somebody sworn by oath and affirmation that you did something wrong before a person or official who had the power to do so because they were given power from the people, right? That's why a notary public can give you take your oath in the form of a jurat on an affidavit, and it stands as evidence that can be held in any court case. If you want to make the affidavit even better, go to your Secretary of State, get the person who notarized your document, show that they were actually a notary at the time and commissioned by the state or the county, whatever it is in your state, and it will actually stand as full proof at common law and evidence in a case or in any matter you got, right? So this is how we've been able to get a lot of kids back. I think that we're getting ready to have a floodgate of kids come back now because the mothers and fathers are going to realize that those people who worked for Jeffrey Epstein to help cover for him, those fake news people on Facebook that you are seeing coming out now, the fake fact checkers, the trolls who came around and said that everybody who fought was a criminal. They said I killed somebody in a state I ain't never been to before. That takes some special skill. All types of lies, but it was proven that these people were connected to people who were trafficking. I even showed you guys the arrest record of one of the people who came out and told people don't use affidavits, don't trust that. Now you see at the highest level in the land, Donald Trump, our president, is having things turn around real fast because people have put stuff on affidavits sworn under the penalty of perjury, and that is what's necessary to open up a case. That is what's necessary to show that there's some real fraud that happened or some real wrong, right? So I'm here to educate the people and let you guys know what really happened. I believe that you guys need to know let me see, do you know where I can get the file? Trying to say I sodomized my daughter for no charges or files because I didn't. Yeah. Because I just got my, can I just go take my kids? Don't do that. Don't just go take your kids, because what's happening is there has been a false facade that makes people believe that CPS has been working in the best interest of the people, and nobody's telling that they're making $83,000 to $140,000 per year per child that they steal. And they're breaking it up between each other in a private court under Title 42, 674, payment to states, which shows that it cannot be a court. It's a private legislative tribunal. Understanding that our job is not to just go take back our kids, because there's too many people who believe that they had a right to take your kids. The very fact that they did not arrest you with the police shows that they know you didn't do anything wrong, but they've been using the police because the police also have a contract where they make money off of every kid they secure in what's called officer assist. They're not supposed to knock you down and pull a gun on you. They're just supposed to come there and watch CPS take your kid and hope that you comply, and that's it. Well, now that people are realizing they can write affidavits and stand up and show the truth, we are winning at tremendous rates. I don't know of any attorney in the whole movement that's fighting against what CPS is doing that can say that they got 70-something kids back in 2 years. I don't know anybody, right? But I can say, with people as my witness all on Facebook, you guys just saw a witness up above. You can see Yvette Belrio. You can see Heather McCoy. You can see all these different people, one from England, that I helped get kids back by God. It's not me, it's God who gave me the wisdom and understanding. But the thing is, you're going to be able to have your rights reinstated if we all come together as a people, as we're doing now with the affidavits for Donald Trump. If we do the same thing for the mothers and fathers, showing the law that CPS never had the power to take kids. Now, I will give you the law if you don't have it. You can check and see if I'm lying. If I'm lying, I'm dying, right? The law is Social Security Act 1935, Section 1101, 6D. And what it says, I might get a little bit of it off, but you'll see. It says that nothing in this act shall be construed as authorizing any federal agent, officer, or representative to take charge of any child over the objection of either parent or person standing in local parentis to such child, right? Now that's off the head. So if I mess up a little bit, read it for yourself, but I think I got it. Now, what that law is saying is, it's the creation of the CPS system to give provisions for kids who need help. Now, that law is saying that there was no authority given in the law for them to take kids against the objection of the parents. But what they've been doing in every state in this secret federal program is taking kids against the wishes of parents and not giving them back because they're making money. So don't go back snatching your kids. Don't go being people who look aggressive and violent. We will call them to the carpet by using knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that came directly from God, right? So in the Bible, it tells you that even though your servant understands exactly what you're saying, they will not be rebuked with words, right? So when you send them an affidavit, they're going to shut the freak up and not talk. The reason they're going to do that is because they're going to realize they're caught and they're not going to say anything anymore. They're just going to get silent, right? So when you do that with the affidavit and you CC those affidavits to Donald Trump and William Barr and different people in government, they've been used to stealing your kids in a private court. They'll take your stuff in the record, and you just admitted something, T-Tate. You said they terminated my rights, then told me I don't have rights to records. They're hiding the record because it got fraud in there, and they don't want nobody to know. So when you make an affidavit that shows that they committed fraud and you CC it to Donald Trump and William Barr, what happens is when there is a fraud committed, is something, a felony committed, is something called misprision of felony. And what happens is, if a government official who's supposed to protect you gets affidavits of fraud or felonies and see that somebody stole your kids and kidnapped them, and they don't tell or do something, then they're also part of the fraud and they can go to prison for life, right? They get, it's treason really, and because they're attacking the American people. So when they come steal your kids for money, it's treason because they're trustees of the government at part of the day. And then at the same time, they're working in a private enterprise where they're stealing your kids for profit. So they're not telling you these things, but I'm telling you these things because here's what I understand. Some people who didn't know that Donald Trump was going to come with affidavits said that there's no evidence. Notice now they're starting to shut the freak up, and Fox News is trying to double back with Tucker and saying, yes, there is evidence. Yeah, you're saying that because there's affidavits. He's still trying to smooth it over for Fox, but he came out and said there's evidence. Rudy Giuliani, a brilliant lawyer, came out and said there was evidence. Rudy Giuliani went all the way overseas and came back with evidence called affidavits about Hunter Biden's wrong, and now it had to be talked about. Why is it that they're talking about affidavits? Because Josh Barnett set up the meeting where we talked about the affidavits and told them how to do it. Now, that information circulated around the country, and now everybody wants to use affidavits. Now, for all the mothers and fathers who we saw, including the ones up above in the comments who got their kids back already, some people said, oh, well, we don't know if affidavits have enough teeth and David's process can help people get their kids back. Let me explain to you what happened, guys. It's hard to get kids back when you're the first one in your state or you're the only one who comes out showing the fraud. But as the people start to realize the fraud, Thomas Jefferson said that educating the people is the only sure way to keep the republic, to keep a free government, right? So I knew, based on the Bible and based on what our forefathers taught us, that all I have to do is teach all the people how to do affidavits. Teach all the people how to use the real law. Even if one person don't get their kid back today, it's going to happen that all these affidavits are going to circulate. The word is going to spread like crazy, like it is now. You'll see this video is going to go mega viral, right? YouTube might hide the numbers, but it's going to go viral in other places. And what's going to happen is this system is going to be turned on its head and shaken because y'all are going to witness the very things that me and Josh Barnett told these people to do in the meeting that they took action and did, and we took action and did, and Kerry helped us to do it. These very affidavits is going to shake the nation and make all the Supreme Courts expose these people in the states, and people are going to go to jail. And you're going to know that what I told you guys about affidavits years ago is true. Not only did it help get 65 to 70 kids back, it's going to potentially save our republic. And then the parents are going to realize, oh, shucks, that crazy dude with the bald head, with the gray tooth was telling us the truth. And now we're going to get all our kids back. And you're going to see a great flood. I'm telling you, by God, you're going to see a great flood of kids come back, and you're going to see that Donald Trump is going to be willing to hear what every parent has to say about the affidavits. He already asked for whistleblowers after we hit them with 2,000 affidavits before. Now it's going to be a landslide of affidavits. You can send them to Donald Trump at the White House. You guys should friend Josh Barnett on Twitter. You should friend Josh Barnett on Facebook. He has put a lot of this stuff together. He ran for Congress. He has a lot of connections. We can do an affidavit campaign that's so heavy and so big for voter fraud and for people who lost their kids that I will tell you guys, put this on my life. More kids will come back than you have ever seen in history, just like in the Bible, Isaiah chapter 49. I'm telling y'all, there is no way that I could have learned all this without God showing me and directing my steps. I found the hidden law that said CPS couldn't take kids. I found the law in ASFA where it says that they can't mess with your private family affairs. I put Congress on notice and showed Congress, along with Robert Slavin and some other people. You can see the video on my Facebook. I put Cindy McCain on notice. She ran out of a meeting. They are afraid. You can send these affidavits to Josh Barnett. CC him. He'll give you his email. I think his email is contact@Barnett for BARNETT 4AZ.com. You can CC Donald Trump, CC William Barr, send it to their addresses, send it to the so-called CPS and family court, every caseworker that went wrong against you. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to get ugly. I'm a small fry for Iraqi powers. I'm a nobody, but it's amazing that what God is doing. And I'm gonna tell you this: I'm just a small fry. I'm a nothing, but you guys are everything, and I'm gonna tell you why. You guys are the ones who gained the strength to stand up, to hear the truth. A lot of people want to bury their head in the sands. You guys are standing up and being strong and putting in affidavits, saving this nation. This has never been done before. No group of people ever in history have put together affidavits and went after people doing election fraud and all this stuff in such a huge way. This has never happened. So give yourselves a pat on the back. Share this video and let people know all the powerful things that are happening. We don't have to lose. You people who have fought CPS and went through hard struggles, listen, don't feel bad about the hard things that you had to go through. I had to go through the fight. I didn't know all this stuff. I lost my little guys temporarily. Got the order to get them back. Not everybody understands how I set the government officials up, so they don't know that the order means they have to give the kids back yet. And I ain't tripping because I got to do this, right? But when people realize how bad we set the government officials up, Josh Barnett and I got on and kept telling you guys of how we do this. Hey, Shaylay, get with me on Signal. My Facebook is gone, my main Facebook. And I'm no longer on WhatsApp. So, guys, being able to deal with all this, I understand why God had to let my kids be taken away from me temporarily. I understand. I understand why he let me see that CPS lies and just makes up stuff. I understand why he allowed me to collect all the evidence and sit it in the Supreme Court of the state of Arizona and trap them. I understand why the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, after getting private notice and all these different things, why he responded the way on video that he did. He told on the legislature. I used a trust argument agreement in 2 minutes. Or 2 or 3 minutes, and after that time was up, he told that, hey, it's not the judiciary, it's the legislature. They're the ones who are doing this, blah, 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 blah. I told you guys a long time ago it was the legislative tribunal. I'm thankful to God that the wrong things that happened to me happen now because I understand I had a purpose, just like you guys have a purpose. So don't feel bad about your hurt. Don't feel bad about the time you didn't have with your kids. Understand that God is a God of restoration. He is able to bring the relationships back, bring all the kids back. He even tells you in Isaiah 49 how it's a light thing for him to raise up somebody to help the Gentiles and bring people to him and be a light to them, right? It is a light thing for him to restore the captives and to return and save your children. Look at Isaiah 49. It talks about people who steal kids by a law and how God will raise somebody up to reverse it. I'm not ashamed or sad about the fact that I had to go through this. I'm a fighter, and I understand that the people on this video and the people around the country who got their kids taken, you are worthy of having your kids back. God didn't choose you as a parent by mistake. Just like we are worthy of having the president that we choose. We don't need to have somebody come in and try to take over the whole country and sell us out to China. Now, if you like Biden or Harris, that's your business. You know, I'm not somebody who say you got to be Democrat or Republican. But what I'm saying is that when we have our election process, you don't run it over and you don't just crush the people. And so the things that I had to go through to learn this, it's a beautiful thing, you know, and I'm thankful to God for it. I'll have my little guys back with me soon, and you guys will see them behind my head jumping on me like they used to when I used to do my business videos, right? But I want to thank you guys for coming on. I want to thank you guys for the love. I want to thank you guys for truth. I understand that I do talk long. I understand that, you know, I talk about God, but I got to be real. I got to tell you what I believe got me to where I am, or I'm fake. God did this for me. God helped me to learn these things. God set me up with Josh Barnett. God set me up with Evelyn Keeling. God let me meet Paul Gosar. So, you know, people can say a lot. Oh, wait, let me give you more evidence to prove to you, because remember I said I'm not going to just tell you stuff, I'm going to prove it. So if you guys look here, you can see this. This is what I got the day of the meeting, right? Or the day before the meeting at the event the night before. So I'm not just telling y'all that I met Paul Gosar and he was at a meeting. I'm showing you freaking facts, right? So I'm not telling y'all that we were in meetings that will potentially save the republic. I'm not just saying it. I'm showing y'all facts that you can verify where I logged, where I was on Facebook, right? So I say these things to encourage you, to impress upon you the power that you have to change this nation, to shake up the wickedness that's been happening. It is not Donald Trump's job to correct the situations that happen when the republic is being stolen. It is the job of the people that when things start going where we're not happy and we're seeing that the government is not meeting the ends that we need, it is our job to fix it, abolish it, restore it. You know, it's our job. So we can't keep blaming Trump, blaming one or two other government officials. We have all political power. We created government. We control government. The highest level of government is still our servants. We, the people, have all political power. And we will no longer sit down and watch people take kids, watch people steal elections, watch the news media do wrong. We're going to stand up with all fire, all passion, with massive action, and we're going to do the unthinkable, and we're going to freaking win. Period. Right? You guys are winners. You guys are champion. I love the heck out of you. Thank you guys for letting me talk to you. Thank you guys for giving me a platform and supporting me. I love the heck out of you guys, and I thank you for all your hard work and dedication. You guys are powerful. You guys are amazing. Stay that way. I will catch you guys later. Y'all be cool. Share this video like crazy. I'm going to say peace.